always been a creature of comfort. Even as an infant, I refused to wear anything with stiff, scratchy lace or itch-inducing wool. Long before it became a slogan, cotton actually was the fabric of my life. Throughout my childhood, I always wore what I wanted to wear with minimal pushback from anybody. My first official showdown with sartorial standards happened in 1969 when I was in junior high in Downey, California. Downey is a suburb of LA that created its own school district, primarily to avoid integration. In other words, not exactly a bastion of free thinking. In line with town politics, our public schools had a strict dress code that, among other things, banned girls from wearing pants. Dresses could rise no higher than 1 inch above the knee, and the dean of girls regularly patrolled with a yardstick to enforce the rules. I happened to love wearing pants and took great exception to the dress code. Also, I was influenced by the growing feminist movement and resented on principle any rule that was unequally applied by gender. I decided to take matters into my own hands and began circulating a petition to local parents demanding that the school board drop the discriminatory ban on pants. I was able to collect over 1,000 signatures, which I proudly presented at the next school board meeting, certain that my initiative and perseverance would be appreciated and rewarded with a resounding victory. My hopes were dashed when the board refused to even consider the petition. Inspired by the college protests I'd seen on television, I decided to stage a sit-in in the junior high school quad the following week. A few friends and I handed out flyers inviting students to cut class after fourth period and made signs proclaiming, "No pants, no peace." We had a fantastic turnout, resulting more from a desire to cut class than for any real passion for the cause. Our success was so great that school administrators called in the local police, who arrived in force, dressed in riot gear. Talk about an unwarranted dress code. The upshot was that the sit-in was quickly disbanded, and despite being on the student council and a cheerleader, I was labeled a subversive element. I was expelled and banished to the high school across town, where students were presumably more resistant to radicals. On a positive note, the school district did drop the dress code, but they were quick to point out that it had nothing to do with the sit-in or my petition. 10 years later, I moved to New York and was interviewing for my first real job at an ad agency. I bought the requisite 2 interview suits and my first pair of high heels, and even managed to pass the typing test, which I think was only administered to females. When offered the entry-level job by the HR person, she added the caveat that the owner prefers that women wear dresses. I'd like to say that I declined the position on principle, but the reality was that I desperately needed the $6,000 a year salary in order to afford the illegal New York City sublet with no windows, which I hoped to share. So I devised the following plan. Owning no dresses or even skirts beyond the 2 interview suits, I pulled out my trusty LL Bean catalog and identified a cotton corduroy shirt dress with matching elastic belt being offered for $19 in 5 colors. I bought one in every color for each day of the work week. Sure, it was an ethical compromise, and I really did get sick of those dresses. But 6 months later, I was offered a promotion that tripled my salary and included a window office, which I christened by wearing a fancy new pair of cotton corduroy pants.